I often wonder what's going through companies' heads, thinking that all we want these days is the mass production of asymmetrical multiplayer games, solely revolving around a killer and his victims. It's a premise that's been flogged for years now, and quite frankly, what has it given us? Dead games that become completely unplayable the moment the servers go offline or interest wanes. Friday the 13th. The game is a perfect example. Once the servers went down, all that remained was a silent digital cabin. Evolve started with so much promise, but we all know that story. Then there's Puppet Master on PC last year, a neat little gimmick, but most of these games are plagued by the same fundamental flaw: the base requirement of needing PS Plus or Xbox Live. These games should be exempt from it, because without a subscription, they literally cannot exist on consoles, and therein lies the problem. And it doesn't stop there. The list goes on: Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and countless others. All of these could have been fun, standalone experiences, but instead, they die as soon as online interest drops. Studios are churning out these titles as quick cash-ins, banking on nostalgia or a franchise name, while actual gameplay is almost secondary. And yet, the market keeps flooding with them. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Damon. And today we're diving headfirst into two Evil Dead games, A Fistful of Boomstick and Evil Dead Regeneration. These titles span the late 2000s and early 2000s, showing just how chaotic translating Sam Raimi's world into interactive form can be, and, spoiler alert, they're both guilty of squandered potential. A Fistful of Boomstick for the Xbox is set 3 years after Hail to the King. It starts with Ash Williams recounting his battles with the Necronomicon Ex Mortis to an unsuspecting Japanese emperor, Kameyama, who, doesn't speak a word of English. Through a series of wild flashbacks, we follow Ash back to Dearborn, Michigan, where a live broadcast by the parapsychologist Professor Alex Eldridge accidentally unleashes Deadites into the world. Because, of course, what could go wrong airing an ancient book of evil on live TV? From there, chaos erupts. Deadites roam the town, civilians are transformed, and Ash must rescue Trisha Pettywood and Eldridge, close portals, and ultimately track down the Kandarian summoning stone to save Dearborn. Along the way, Ash is hopping through time, facing Deadite hordes in colonial times, the Civil War and beyond, all while dealing with the absurdity of evil force meets historical reenactment. So, gameplay-wise, it's pure third-person 3D action and adventure. Combat focuses on the classic chainsaw and boomstick combo, with later weapons acquired through exploration. Time travel mechanics add some variety to settings, but controls are basic and honestly, sometimes clunky. Enemy hordes are far from impressive though, giving the combat a frantic, fast and furious feel. Alright, so let's talk about the pros. Bruce Campbell's voice acting is absolutely fantastic, really keeping Ash's irreverent charm intact throughout. The story is just absurd and chaotic, and honestly, it fits the over-the-top tone of the films perfectly. Oh, and having loads of Deadites on screen at once makes the combat feel, well, genuinely satisfying. Now, onto the cons. The levels can feel a bit empty and repetitive, especially when you're searching for key items or keys to progress. Combat, while fun, honestly lacks depth. Most of the time, strafing and shooting is all you really need. There are also some minor control quirks and, the occasional camera problem. And the story, while entertaining, can feel unnecessarily convoluted, with all those time jumps thrown in. So, overall, Fistful nails the chaos, gore and humor of Evil Dead better than most adaptations. But it's still a bit rough around the edges. A fun ride, but one you'll probably finish in under 10 hours if you're, competent with the controls. Now, Regeneration is a different beast entirely. It takes a more experimental approach. Ash is locked in an asylum after the events of the films, convinced the world thinks he's crazy. Enter Dr. Reinhard, a villain obsessed with the Necronomicon who accidentally unleashes the Deadites and forces Ash to fight through an increasingly insane environment. This is where Regeneration diverges. It adds a helper character, Sam, a half-Deadite who can be possessed to solve puzzles or bypass obstacles. There's also possession spells and the evil Ash mode that lets you turn into a Deadite temporarily. Unfortunately, while these mechanics sound great on paper, they don't always deliver. Gameplay: three-dimensional action-adventure. Combat includes melee and ranged, but is clunky and unpolished. Combos don't flow naturally. Possession mechanics are more gimmick than necessity. Evil Ash is underpowered until the final boss. Pros: Bruce Campbell returns as Ash, still hilarious and charming. The gore and Deadite design are entertaining, keeping with the franchise's tone. Some variety in weaponry and spells adds moments of creativity. Right, so let's talk cons. The combat is, honestly, repetitive and frustrating. Blocking often just doesn't work, and the AI is, well, pretty inconsistent. Sam, your so-called helper, is irritating at best, especially when he's possessed. And to be fair, the story and cutscenes don't really add much to the lore. They just don't capture the film's humor or horror as effectively as Fistful did. Regeneration shows ambition, but, ambition alone doesn't make a good game. The mechanics don't mesh well, and what could have been a creative, memorable experience just ends up feeling like a chore. Both games suffer from being products of their time. A Fistful of Boomstick captures the chaos, gore and humor of Ash's world, but is held back by repetitive combat and honestly limited exploration. Regeneration experiments with mechanics and storytelling, but fails to polish any of them, leaving a clunky, forgettable experience. Still, nostalgia is strong, and Evil Dead has never stopped selling. These games could absolutely benefit from a modern remake. Dual releases on current platforms, updated mechanics, tighter combat, and expanded environments. Even an indie developer could do it justice, let alone a AAA studio. Imagine a Suda51-directed Evil Dead game. Fluid, insane combat, over-the-top gore, absurd story beats. Now that would be a game worthy of Ash and the Necronomicon. For now, though, we're left with Fistful and Regeneration, flawed, occasionally brilliant, but ultimately missed opportunities. Bruce Campbell elevates both, but even his charm can't fully mask the rough edges. Play them if you're a fan, but don't expect perfection. Just a reminder that Evil Dead games can be fun, if only they actually nailed it. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinion in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.